In the beginning, before man drew breath, God created angelic beings to serve him, to worship him, and to carry out his will throughout the heavens. Among them was one unlike any other, Lucifer, whose name means shining one or light bearer. The prophet Ezekiel 28 verses 12 to 17 describes him as the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. He was adorned with every precious stone, the sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, jasper, sapphire, emerald, and carbuncle, all set in gold. This imagery paints a picture not only of external splendor, but of divine craftsmanship. Lucifer was anointed as the covering cherub, meaning he was positioned close to the throne of God. The word anointed in this passage is Strong's H, 4886, mash, meaning consecrated or set apart for a sacred purpose. He wasn't ordinary. He was entrusted to reflect God's glory, not to replace it. His purpose was to magnify the Creator through worship and order in the heavenly host. In essence, Lucifer was designed to be a vessel of God's light, a conduit through which the brilliance of the Almighty shone. But then came the tragedy of all creation. Ezekiel 28 verse 15 says, "You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created until iniquity was found in you." That phrase, "iniquity was found in you," holds a chilling revelation. The word iniquity comes from Strong's H, 5766, avla, meaning moral perversity, injustice, or wickedness. It's not merely sin committed outwardly, it's corruption born inwardly. It begins as a seed of thought, a silent distortion of truth, a self-focused ambition that defiles purity. Lucifer began to admire his own beauty and brilliance. The splendor that was meant to glorify God became the mirror through which he admired himself. His wisdom, once used to lead worship, became the tool of manipulation. His authority became self-seeking. In Isaiah 14, verses 12 to 14, 5 defiant statements mark the rebellion that erupted within his heart. "I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." The word exalt here is Strong's H, 7311, meaning to lift up, to raise high, or to promote oneself. Pride had taken root. This pride wasn't mere arrogance. It was spiritual treason. It was the desire to dethrone God and enthrone self. Pride always begins as a subtle lie whispered into the heart. You deserve more. You are equal to God. You can rise higher on your own. What began as worship of the Creator turned into self-worship. Lucifer's fall shows us the anatomy of iniquity. It starts not in the hands, but in the heart. Pride blinds the soul, twisting truth into deception. Ezekiel 28 verse 17 declares, "Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor." The word corrupted is Strong's H, 7843H, meaning to destroy, ruin, or decay. Pride is spiritual decay. It eats away at purity until only rebellion remains. In that moment, the light bearer became the father of lies. As John 8 verse 44 says, "He was a murderer from the beginning and did not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him." His wisdom was darkened. His beauty was desecrated. His purpose was perverted. When pride reached its fullness, judgment came swiftly. Luke 10 verse 18 records the words of Jesus, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." The fall was not gradual, it was immediate, catastrophic, and irreversible. Revelation 12 verse 9 echoes this. "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world." He was no longer Lucifer, the light bearer. He became Satan, the adversary. 2 Peter 2 verse 4 and Jude verse 6 tell us that the angels who joined him in rebellion were cast down with him. The very ones who once sang before the throne now dwell in darkness, awaiting final judgment. His final destiny is sealed in Revelation 20 verse 10. "And the devil who deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone. The one who sought to ascend above the stars of God will be brought down to everlasting ruin." But this is not merely an ancient cosmic tragedy. It is a warning to us. The same iniquity that rose in Lucifer can rise in human hearts when we exalt ourselves above God's will. Pride, self-sufficiency, and disobedience are not just moral failures, they are echoes of the same rebellion that began in heaven. 1. Timothy 3 verse 6 warns leaders not to become puffed up with pride, lest they fall into the same condemnation as the devil. Pride remains the root of every sin because it dethrones God in the heart. This is why the message of Lucifer's fall matters today. It calls us to look inward, to recognize the subtle rise of self-will over surrender. It reminds us that God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Lucifer fell because he wanted to be worshipped, but we were created to worship the one true God. His fall warns us, glory belongs only to God. Proverbs 16 verse 18 tells us, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." The moment we take our eyes off the Creator and begin to glorify ourselves, we repeat the oldest deception of all. Yet God, in His mercy, offers us what Satan can never again have, redemption. Through the humility of Yeshua, the Son of God, who made Himself of no reputation, Philippians 2 verses 5 to 9, we are shown the path to restoration. Where Lucifer sought to rise and fell, Christ chose to descend and was exalted forever. This is our call, to humble ourselves under the mighty hand of God, to walk in obedience, and to guard our hearts against the pride that destroys. Lucifer's story isn't just about his fall. It's about the danger of forgetting who we were created to serve. The light bearer became the prince of darkness when he turned his gaze from God to himself. So we, too, must choose daily to reflect God's light or to seek our own, to worship or to be worshipped, to exalt Christ or to exalt self. For the choice of the heart determines the destiny of the soul.